Good morning, everyone. It's a joy to be with you here at Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to all of you online. Would you stand if you wish and join us in our opening song, I Release and I Let Go.
Andre?
Yeah.
Gotta let it go.
Let it all go.
And this is what you have to say.
I release, I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. And no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Release, I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. I release, I let go. I let the Spirit run. Sing it like you mean it. I release, I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. I release, I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Andrea. Wow, that's good. It's a joy to be with you today. Welcome, welcome again. So we come together because we know there's a power for good in the universe, and we're using it all the time. The question is, how are we using it, right? Our purpose in Centers for Spiritual Living is to awaken humanity to its divine magnificence. So this center is a place where you can come and be seen and cared for and loved, and we see the divine in you. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. I think I grew up feeling that I had to be perfect for love to be loved. You don't have to raise your hand, but that's not an uncommon thing. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I've discovered that I can love people even if they're not perfect, and I can love myself even though that might be more difficult, because I've become more deeply and deeply aware of the divine magnificence that you all, each one, are, and that I am. So thank you for being with us here today as we join in spiritual community to lift our spirits and discover more possibilities in our lives. And I'd like to have Reverend Valerie Reeves share some good things going on here.
Good things going on. Yeah. Okay, good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. Yes. Claiming the best day ever. Yes, it is, because you're here. I get to see you. I love you. I love you. I love you. So I am knowing it is the best day ever, and we have some wonderful things going on. Today, the Women's Circle will be in service. It says the teen room, but I know they're coloring mandalas, and so I printed off a bunch, and so they may be in Richelieu Hall. They'll be somewhere, right? Yes. You can always see Elaine. Follow the yellow jacket. Follow the beautiful yellow jacket. We have 2 new divine dining events for you to bid on. A tea and sculpture with artist Cynthia Joyce, and she is fantastic. In her home studio, okay, it says her home studio, but it is not in her home studio. It is. Best day ever. Woo! You get to go to Cynthia Joyce's house. I did not know that. Okay. Bidding closes today at 12:30. There are flyers out there on the table that tell all about it. And you want to get in on that, especially if you love working with your hands and you love some tea.
If you've paid for the event, you can pick up Cynthia's address at the front desk in the foyer. So that is next Sunday, August 20th from 2 to 4. It'll be a great event. The second Divine Dining is a boat ride in the harbor with a dockside barbecue. Check them out at the activities table. That's going to be a fun one. Are you ready to release some treasures? Pass them on to someone else? Yes. We begin collection for items of the Hidden Treasure yard sale on August 16th. We'll be collecting them. The yard sale is going to be in September. So the sale begins September 15th on a Friday. So we will have a big container to be able to put all of those things in. So bring some really good stuff. We're also looking for volunteers. See Dan at the activities table if you want to volunteer for that event. Katie Frankel, she is our board president. She's amazing. She's back there behind the camera. We put her to work. Thank you, Katie Frankel. Thank you for all you do. She is doing something really wonderful. She is doing a spiritual parenting class for teens. It's going to be a panel group. So spiritual parenting with teens, it is August 27th from 1 to 3. The cost is $25. There is a flyer out in the hall. There will be teens present also, because if we're going to have a panel of people telling us what to do, then we definitely got to have the teens. So they'll tell us what to do. Spiritual parenting is going to be great. See the back cover of your program for our 2 book studies and other events. Check out the activities table in the lobby. Join us in Richelieu Hall after service for coffee and conversation and sharing. Join us every Sunday for our Science of Mind study group, which happens right before service from 10:15 to 10:45. We're reading the Science of Mind textbook with Ernest Holmes and then having some discussion. So it's a wonderful thing. And I just want to do a really big thank you to all of our volunteers. There's so many things that yes, give it up for the volunteers. We have a couple new volunteers in the back, and it's always great. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities, from kids to audio, visual, to the bookstore, to hospitality. So many great ideas and so many great things that you can do to share your amazing talent. So without further ado, we're going to move into that sacred space. So let's get fully planted here as we sing the meditation music.
I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you wake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved. I'm here to remind you you're magnificent. Help me awake to all the wonder that I am. You long to show me all the joy I'm worthy of. You're here to remind me how much I'm truly loved.
So in that beautiful sacred space, I invite you to join me in opening heart and mind to the awareness of the presence of the divine, the light of life itself, right here, right now. This presence is deep, grounding peace, and I ground myself in that peace. It is unbounded love. Moving into that love, I feel a deeper sense of oneness with all of life, and most especially with the divine, the true nature of my own being and of all beings. We are one in the one. It feels so good. And the nature of this presence is pure joy. And so I move into that sense of upliftment and joy and light and life. And take a moment to just bless our time together, knowing that as this service unfolds, the music inspires, touches our hearts. The words lift us into a higher awareness of truth and of who we are. Take a moment to know that whatever the need is, our time together brings healing and revealing of the greater yet to be. And so I am grateful. With great thanksgiving, I bless our time, knowing it is perfect just the way it is, that it unfolds guided by Spirit in every way. And so I release this word into the infinite, into the presence of the divine activity of the universe itself, knowing it is already done. And will you join me as we affirm this together by saying, and so it is.
What an introduction. Good morning, magnificent ones. Happy Sunday. So, I was reading, you are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life, in the great drama of being, the great joy of becoming. Doesn't that just knock your spiritual socks off on a Sunday morning? Ernest Holmes wrote this in his book, This Thing Called You, which is a powerhouse book, and as I know a lot of you know it already. And as if to emphasize this point, just this morning I noticed one of our coffee cups had Celebrate Life's Adventures. Now, an adventure isn't usually soft music and mood lighting. I tend to think of it as something that I haven't tried yet but want to. And in case any of you are wondering, white river rafting, bungee jumping, and jumping out of a plane are not on my list. So just don't want you to give me a coupon for any of those things. But the joy and adventure comes from experimenting with something new, the element of surprise, a new experience, and the ups and downs that life brings us. So I found myself thinking about Dr. Sharon's talk title, Heaven Here and Now, and realized that as with everything in life, it's all in the perception we have of our life events. And as we're blessing everything that comes into our lives today with the belief that God is in this situation, it's not always easy. So listen to this. Change is the greatest form of self-love. The whole point of being alive is to evolve into the complete person you were meant to be. That's you. All that is written on just the cover of Oprah's quarterly magazine. And with all that power, who needs to read the rest of the magazine? I'm sure she'd like me to. But I thought that was a fantastic thing. And this version of her magazine is called the Transformation Issue. I love it. Perfect timing. So we mustn't allow ourselves to be coaxed into complacency. Excuse me, when we hear things like, change your thinking, change your life. Yeah, over and over. Think about it. We've got all these little sayings in this teaching, and we sort of go, oh, yeah, right. It's important. In the Bible, in Romans 12, we're invited to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And just remember that saying, change is the greatest form of self-love. Go for it. So what in our minds need to be transformed in order to create heaven here and now? This month, we're being encouraged to find our purpose in our passions. That's the adventure for many of us. Ask what makes you come alive? What brings you joy? And that little percolation of our passion begins when we allow our thoughts to build momentum around an idea. Now, I know all of you know about, we just talked this morning, of sowing the seed and putting in the soil, all that good stuff. Creating a mold by feeling it. Feel the sense of what it's like that we'll have when our dream is realized. it's such an important second step. Know what your passion is first. Now feel it, feed it. And we're given the tools with how to do that here at the center. So once we allow the thoughts and feelings to percolate, they begin to show up in our experience as an inspiration for our purpose. We often equate purpose with a big idea. We've got to save the planet, we've got to end world hunger, we've got to bring about world peace. And if that's your passion, join that group. But if your heart's going somewhere else, listen, because you really are an important part of God's plan for this thing we call the world. What brings me joy? What am I being called to do? What is an action that I can take today to make that happen? We've got so many choices to where we direct our attention. We often go along with the daily diet of news and social media, and it leads to, and I love this expression, a malnourished spirit. This can distract our energy and override the vibrations about what we want to manifest. So by becoming aware of where we're directing our attention, we're taking a conscious step towards making our lives just heavenly, right here and now. So join with me in affirming. I allow my passion to bubble into my consciousness. With gratitude, I nurture it. It blends naturally with my purpose. And now whoever was in the class this morning will know why I was grinning at all the words you brought up. It's part of the talk. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is to have the beautiful Andrea Lane share her glorious talents with us.
Thank you, Reverend Kathy. We love you. We love you. Right? Let's raise the vibration even more. There is only one of us. There is only one of us. There is only one of us. There is only one. There is only one. Raise the vibration. We raise it up. Raise it up. And we're working with the law, with the law. Every one of us is working with the law, with the law. Every one of us is working with the law. Universal law. Can we back it up? Back it up with love. And we raise the vibration. We raise it up. Raise it up. And I know we're all finding our way back home. Yeah. And I know we're all finding our way back home. Yeah. And to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, up above and below, God is all. To the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, up above and below, God is all there is. 'Cause we raise the vibration. We raise it up. Are y'all raising it? Raise it up. And I know we're all finding our way back home. Yeah, yeah. And I know we're all finding our way back home. Hey. I'm so grateful to know there is only one power, one presence moving in me, moving through me. God is all there is. Do you agree? Say yes. I know that I'm bringing heaven here on earth, right here and right now. You agree? Yes. And I'm so grateful. I'm just grateful, grateful, grateful to release these words unto the Lord. So it is. Raise it up. Can we raise the vibration? We raise it up. Raise it up. And I know we're all finding
Thank you. Wow, thank you, Andrea, Andy, Billy. Woo, that was good. We're all finding our way back home. So Soren Kierkegaard describes a huge vestibule with big doors. And over one door, the sign says heaven. And over the other door, the sign says lecture on heaven. Guess where the people were going? To the lecture. So here you are in the lecture on heaven. So the question is, are you ready for heaven here and now? Yes. Pope John Paul said, you can look it up on the internet, heaven and hell are states of mind, not places you go after you die. Heaven is now. It is your state of mind. So how's your state of mind? Are you feeling in heaven today? Yes. That's because you're here, right? Yes. Me too. So when you go back out in the world, sometimes we don't stand in and live from that state of mind, that heavenly sense of, I'm going to ask you, how would it be to feel in your mind, body, spirit, that you're living a heavenly life? What's the first thing that comes to you that you would desire to have? Joy. Love. Maybe it's love. How about deep grounding peace? How about real peace in your life and in all of your affairs? Whew. So it's important to get in touch with how it would be and actually actually don't even just try, just do it. Live from a sense of that all the time, right? And what I notice is when you begin to do that, things fall away, stuff falls away. Think about what might fall away. Worry. I know someone who's a total worrier. Watches TV, watches the news, worries about things that never even happen, worries about things that might happen in her home. And I've had this conversation with her before. You think but when you worry, it affects your body, doesn't it? I think it actually suppresses your immune system. It affects your spirit. It affects your mind. So that's just one thing that we want to fall away and not live in anymore, right? How about judgment? Yes. I used to be a really good judge of others. And here's the tragic thing. I was also a judge of myself. So could you release judgment? Okay, good. We're all on the same page. I love that. So, one of the things we would do if we were living in heaven is all of our dreams would be lived true. All of our dreams would come true. So the question is, what is your biggest dream? What is the thing you'd like to know? Actually, I have a quote from Wayne Dyer I want to show you first. What he says is, within you is the divine capacity to manifest and attract all that you need or desire. You already have it. So let's put it to work today. And here's what Mark Twain says. This is hilarious and true. I can teach anybody how to get whatever they want out of life. The problem is I can't find anybody who can tell me what they want. So, do you know what you want? Oh, lots of people are going, yes. Yes. I'm happy to hear that. Because, people come to me for spiritual support and prayer. And sometimes they're just so focused on the problem, and I ask them what they want, and they tell me more about the problem. And I ask them, oh, okay, that sounds, I understand. That must be really challenging. What is it you'd like? And they tell me more about the problem. So it's getting in touch with what are you replacing these issues with? It's really discovering what you want. And there's a secret to this. I probably talked about it before because it's one of my favorite things. It's like really listening to your heart's desire. What does my heart want? What would bring me joy, peace, a sense of well-being in every way? And when you really and sometimes we throw in a should. I should do this or that, and then I'll be happy. I should have something in the future, get the right job, get the right person, do the right thing. And the shoulds aren't the thing. So you've heard this before, but stop shoulding on yourself about anything, please. Just don't do that anymore. No more of that. So when you get in touch with what you really, really want, you can't help but smile. I've seen this in workshops. People will say, this is what I want, but then you go a little deeper. Well, here's the secret. What would that feel like? It's not so much the thing itself, the house, the car, the man, the woman, the relationship, the job. It's not what's on the outside, it's what I'm going to feel when I have that. And when you move into that feeling of what you have, the natural answer to that in the outer world will show up. It's about living now, and Ernest Holmes says, put the fire in your faith, in your treatments. Feel it right now, like vibrantly feel what you really, really want. So you're going to go there with me now? Picture what you want. See if it makes you smile. Okay? Are you doing that? Check it. Does it make you smile? And if you're not sure yet, don't worry. You can work on this at home later. It's your homework. Okay, now I want you to, if you wish, close your eyes, but just start to feel like it's already there. You have it. It's yours. That perfect love in your relationships. That joyful expression in life, using your talents, your gifts to do the things you love and making a difference, because the truth is we do all have a purpose. So see yourself loving what you're doing and being appreciated and well rewarded for it. Doesn't that feel good? Feels good. So whatever your heart desires can be yours. And under all of that, the foundation for that, I'm going to tell you a little story so we can get there. A rabbi was late at night walking in the dark, deep in thought, just walking. And then he came to a very high wall, and he looked up, and there's a turret up there with a guard in it. And the guard looks down and says, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" And he did not a word. The rabbi didn't say anything, didn't answer the guard. So the guard says a little louder, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Still, the rabbi is silent. And finally, he shouts, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" And they turned the volume down. That was very smart of you. And the rabbi said, "How much do they pay you to do that?" "They pay me 10 shillings. I will pay you twice as much if you will come to my house every day and ask me those 2 questions." Who are you? What are you doing here? And who we are is the foundation. That discovery of our true self, that's the foundation to really living what our heart desires. To really living full out, freely, in joy, in love, in peace, in heaven, here and now. Not later, now, in this moment. So let's start today. One of the keys to this, and getting rid of worry and judgment, and most of all, discovering the amazing presence of the divine in, through, and as all of us, is meditation. Taking time away from the busyness of the outer world and our busy thoughts and thinking and worrying and judging and hoping for and wanting and desiring all the things that we want and hope and desire. The thing that takes us out is something where we move into spaciousness within our own mind. And I've heard that it can be challenging to meditate, and I've experienced that. And don't be judgmental. Be present with whatever comes. One of my favorite things when I was first learning to meditate was just notice what thought popped up, and usually it was a list of things to do. Did you ever have that happen when you're trying to meditate? Oh, after I get done meditating, I need to right? So just notice that coming in and let it pass right on by. It's like a bubble floating through your mind. Just let it boop, 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 go by, and then notice what else comes up. And if you continue to do this, even if it's just 2 minutes to start, 5 is better. You might actually get someplace with 5. Half an hour. I was in a class years ago when I was in ministerial school where we were required to meditate for 30 minutes a day and then journal after that. And that was probably more than I'd ever done before, because I meditate, but I also do other kinds of spiritual practice. And so I found that to be profound, to take even more time and really be still. And then what you write afterwards didn't necessarily have anything to do with the meditative experience. It was interesting for me. But that was one of the times, I've had several times where I've had that sense of expanded consciousness, and it was before I ever started meditating, honestly. That sense of oneness, deep, loving connection with all of life. So I'm going to invite you to try something that you might not have tried before. Anybody done japa meditation? I like to do spiritual practice once in a while in our services. So japa meditation I learned about from Wayne Dyer. It is meditating to the sound of creation. Doesn't that sound intriguing? A lot of us think of Om. I used to have a mantra I used, Ram, Om. Ram on the out-breath, Om on the in-breath. But Ah is the sound of creation. Ah is in most of the names for God. God, it's not necessarily an A, right? Ahura Mazda, Yahweh, Ah. So I'm going to invite you to, if you wish, close your eyes, and if you wish, join me in just going, Ah. We're going to do this for a little bit. Ah. Ah. Keep going. Ah. 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 All right, one more breath. Ah. There's something magical about that. I hope you'll practice it. There was a time in my life, I founded a church 28 years ago, and I served that church for 10 years. And you know, as a minister, it wasn't a ginormous church like this. It was a very robust and good church. But I wasn't making the kind of money I used to make when I worked in technology. And so my husband came to me one day. He was probably 50 at the time, I don't know. And he said, you know, I always thought I would retire at 55, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that financially. And with absolutely no connection to that, I had just learned about japa meditation, and I just started I started doing ah everywhere. I would drive in the car with my eyes open, by the way, and go ah, and I would see good coming to me. It wasn't about John's request. It was just that I was creating the sense of the divine in every area of my life. And the strangest thing happened, and I absolutely give japa meditation credit for this. I got a call. And they were actually asking me if my daughter might be available to go to work for a technology company, which had been my field, and I knew the people that owned that business. And my friend was someone I had worked for before. And he was project manager for engineers going out and installing giant data centers. And he was really being overworked. And so we're talking, and I'm like, would you like some help? My daughter wasn't available to take a job with him. He said, you're kidding, would you have time? Now remember, I'm still a minister managing a church, but I said, yeah. I was just like, this is my thing, I could do this. So I started working part-time, and it's very interesting because after about 3 months, I was getting ready for Sunday service, like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I think God spoke to me. I had this hit that I was really being called away from my church back into the corporate world. There was a big need for me there, and I loved what I did. And so I was so high from getting this knowing that I was going to do that, that I went down and told my husband. He totally didn't believe me. He thought I was going to be in that church forever. I founded it. I've been there 10 years. But it was a spiritual knowingness that told me I was done with that. It was time for something else to happen there and time for me to go here. Well, here's the cool thing about it. I did that. I left the center. It took me about 3 months and moved him through whatever had needed to happen. And now I'm making 6 figures a year. And my husband retired at 55, by the way, just a few years later. So, this stuff works in mysterious ways. So I invite you to use japa meditation at times when you just want to feel centered in spirit. It's another tool in your toolkit, and it's a very powerful one. When Wayne Dyer talks about it, he talks about that it is the power to manifest when you use awe and chant awe. And you can do it out loud, like I would be driving, doing it out loud, and then I get softer and softer, and then I'd just be doing it in my mind, but staying with that. Ultimately, our goal is to really awaken ourselves to how holy and divine we are, that we are the presence of that love in the world. There's a story called The Rabbi's Gift. Maybe some of you have heard it. There was a monastery that had monasteries around the country, but their order was dying. All of their houses had closed, and they were only at the mother house. And there were only 5 monks left in their order. And just, through the last century or so, it had just gone downhill, downhill, downhill. They were very tuned into the divine. And it happened in the forest near them. There was a cottage, a hermitage, where the rabbi from town would come to do a little retreat from time to time. And they were so tuned in that they would know he was in the hermitage. They would say, "Oh, the rabbi's in the forest," to each other. The rabbi's in the forest. Now, all these monks were over 70 years old. And they were very worried about their declining, participation and the dying of their order. So Father Abbot, for the first time, said to his brothers, "I think I'll go talk to the rabbi. Maybe he has a good idea about how we could revitalize our spiritual community." So he goes to the forest and meets the rabbi, and he says, our order seems to be dying off. We just aren't getting interest, and it's very sad. I was hoping maybe you had some words of wisdom for me. And the rabbi says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but people just aren't coming to the synagogue like they used to. We're having the same experience." So they wept together. They read the Torah together. They commiserated. And finally, the monk, Father Abbot, was ready to go, and he said, "Thank you so much. It's wonderful to finally meet you. We always know when you're here, and we appreciate your presence. And I wish there was something you could tell me." The rabbi said, "I'm so sorry that I don't have any words of wisdom for you, but one of you is the Messiah." And so the monk, Father Abbot, goes back to the monastery, and the brothers greet him and say, "Was he helpful?" He said, "No, he couldn't give us any advice or wisdom. He wasn't able to help us. But he said something very cryptic in the end. I don't even know what he meant. He said, 'One of you is the Messiah.'" And so as time passed right after that, the monks started wondering, did he mean one of us here at the Abbey is the Messiah? Well, if it is, it's probably Father Abbot, because, he's really holy. But then they started thinking, well, what about Father Thomas? He is really a spiritual man, a man of faith. Oh, it couldn't possibly be Father Edwin, because, he's always grouchy. But when you think about it, he's always right when he speaks. He has that divine wisdom in him. Maybe it is Father Edwin. And, it couldn't possibly be Father George, because he's always so quiet, But whenever you need something, he shows up. They started just thinking about each other, and then, it dawned on them, what if the Messiah is me? Oh my gosh. And so something shifted in the Abbey. They began to treat each other with the deepest respect. And just on the off chance that they were the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with more care and respect. And people would come. They had a lovely grounds and nice walking path, so people would come from town once in a while to picnic. And what they noticed was there was a change. There was a sense of respect and warmth here at the Abbey now. And they invited more people. It's just lovely out here. Come picnic with us, because there's something really spiritual and magnificent just being on these grounds now. And so, wouldn't you know it, one day a young man came up and spoke to Father Abbott and said, I'm just wondering what it would be like to live here and become one of you. And over time, the light that grew from that reverence for one another shone brightly, and more people came and revitalized the monastery. So what's the message? Did y'all get it? What if you're the Messiah? Guess what? You are. You are the one. You came here to bring peace to the world, to bring your light and your life and your joy, to make a difference on planet Earth. You have a high purpose. So the invitation is to discover your true dream, to discover true you, your spiritual magnificence, and live from that, letting go of judgment, worry, negative thoughts, frustrations, disappointments, stuff that happened in the past. Gary Simmons says, you know, we've all been hurt. We've all had this challenges and all this stuff. He says, GOI, get over it. Just let it go. It's not who you are. We continue to grow and move and become amazing. Now, you know, one of the things that Reverend Kathy mentioned was this book called This Thing Called You. And so I'm going to read a prayer from This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes, because it speaks to what we speak of as my closing. So just take a moment if you wish. You may want to close your eyes. So, I realize that there is a divine presence at the center of my being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness. I let it reach down into the very depths of my being. I rejoice in this realization. The perfect life of God is in and through me in every part of my being. As the sun dissolves the mist, so my acceptance of life dissolves all pain and discord. I am free because the spirit of life in me is perfect. Even now, the living spirit is flowing through me. I open wide the doorway of my consciousness to its influx. I know that my whole being manifests the life, love, peace, harmony, strength, and joy of the Spirit which indwells me, which is incarnated in me, which is my entire being. I am now made vigorous and whole. I am strong and well. The life of the Spirit is my life. I am born of the Spirit. I am in the Spirit. I am the Spirit made manifest. Isn't it beautiful? And so it is. So it is. All right. Thank you. And now our amazing Andrea. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you for that. What if God was one of us? What if God was one of us? Hey, Billy's like, we're not doing that song. I can't be bothered with sorrow, and I can't be bothered with hate. I'm using up my time, but feeling fine every day. Hey, yeah. But I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of life. Yeah. I put my faith in the people, and the people let me down. So I turn the other way and I carry on anyhow. That's why I'm telling you, I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of life. Hey, you know what? I put my hands on some money and the money flew away. But the sun is shining down on me and it's here to stay. That's why I'm telling you, I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of life. Hey, don't let it all get you down. Don't let it turn you around and around and around and hey. Okay? Okay? Yeah. I can't be bothered with sorrow, and I can't be bothered with hate. I'm using up my time, but feeling fine every day. I just want to celebrate. Sing with me, please. I just want to celebrate. I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of life. Hey, right? Don't let it all get you down. Don't let it turn you around and around and around and around. And I just want to celebrate.
That was awesome. Wow. Guess what time it is? As the ushers come forward, it's that time to remember what an amazing thing this community is Spiritual Center, and how we're touching lives, awakening all of us to the possibilities of greatness, to our own divinity, and to wholeness and beauty. So in deep gratitude, this is our time of giving. You support all that we do here, and your gifts are appreciated. So will you join me in saying our affirmation? Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. For I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
Beautiful. I'm going to just take a moment to do a little closing prayer, if you'll just join me in heart and mind. Knowing that the power of God, the Spirit, the presence, the wisdom that is the infinite, that dwells in each one of us, is now rising forward in our lives, bringing whatever is needed, whatever is desired. That's the heart's desire is easily fulfilled. Our way is made easy and the path is well lit. We're guided in all we do. Whatever the need is, it is being met now. If it is for healing in the body, every cell, every part, every particle, every molecule is awakening to the divine ideal within it and naturally moving into its healthy state of being. If it's in a relationship, I know the doors of love are wide open. We see beyond appearances and mistakes and frustrations to the heart. All else falls away. And love prevails, love heals, love brings the light. If it's about the work in the world, the purpose, the gifts that are ours, I know that there's opportunities to share those, a great sense of accomplishment, well-being, as we give and serve and do all that we can to live our life fully. I take a moment to be grateful for the words spoken here, knowing that it is already done. We are blessed in 1,000 ways as we rise up and live as the divine magnificence that we are. So as I let go, I let God handle the details, knowing it is good. Will you join me as we affirm this together by saying, "And so it is." Praise God. And now I'd like to invite our practitioners and ministers to come forward. I want you to know we have amazing practitioners. They are licensed, credentialed, always learning and growing. They are here to provide spiritual support and powerful prayers. If there's anything you'd like to release from your life, anything you'd like to bring into your life, come down forward as a gift to you on Sunday morning. They will say a word of support and prayer with you. Will you all stand as we join together for our peace song? Have a great day. Which way?